So guys, as you can see, this is the Klerksdorp Museum now, but it used to be an old prison house built in 1889, and it served as the prison. But well, now let's go in. I'm going to hand you over to Jonathan just now, and he will do the rest of the video. Good afternoon guys. So yes, we're still in Klerksdorp. It's Benjamin from Max Adventures, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. We are making a video today of the Klerksdorp Museum that used to be the Klerksdorp prison. I'm going to hand you over to Jonathan just now, and then Jonathan will continue with the video with you guys. So I'm going to flip over right to the museum, and Jonathan will show you the rest.
Hello guys, it's Max Out Adventures here. We are here by Klerksdorp Museum, where it was a prison before. So come enjoy the journey with us, and let's start. Okay guys, we've just walked into the gates. You'll see on your right hand side there is a building which they used for a quarantine room, where they shoved everyone inside when the pox broke out, so the people will stay safe. And just show you more about how the building looked like. You'll see there's small gaps inside the building for some light. And so yeah, they were shoved in here when the pox broke out and any disease. And there was only just that metal gate over here. There was no wooden door that was installed later on. I just want to go inside the place to show you guys how it looked inside. This is how the quarantine room looks now. In the olden days there wasn't paint and stuff, so this is how it looks now in the year 2025. Okay, so that's the quarantine building. We are gonna head into the museum now. That was a prison before, so let's head in. Just want to show you here on top it says 1891. Okay, so let's head in. So we are approaching the first room. On your right you will see the World War One exhibition, and you will see lots of pamphlets and things about 1914, and so it goes on. South African Rebellion, 1914, all these interesting facts from 1914. The Republic of South Africa. Here's another entrance. Also, these are photographs. Photographs of the olden days. City of Matosana, a place, a people, a dream. These are photographs of 1900s and back. Hotels, bottle stores, this Klerksdorp School, being record, photographs of old businesses. It's amazing. Here you see the piece of art. Here's more photographs. Here's a TV, I'm not sure what for. I guess it's for more things you can look out about the past. I'm sure you can ask them to switch it on for you and they'll show you other pictures and videos of the past. I'm not sure, but I suppose so. All the history of Klerksdorp and stuff can come and look at all of this. But yeah, by Klerksdorp Museum. It's remarkable. No other words to describe it. Okay guys, interesting facts. These rooms with all of this information inside were warden rooms. This was also a warden room. I want to show you olden chimney. The old chimney.
Okay. So now,
So let's head inside here.
please remember,
Okay guys, so this what we are where we're going now is we are going to enter the prison cells. Now keep in mind this was in apartheid years, and this was in apartheid years, so each race was separated, even the genders, men and women were separated as well. Uh, so meaning whites and blacks were never in one prison cell. Okay, let's start our journey. So as I enter here by the prison cells, you can see the doors looked like original doors. This is how the doors look like outside. And the locks. So they locked it on top, on the bottom, and here they locked it
peeping up.
with a key. And here are peeping holes. It's a bit stuck, but I mean it's original, so it's very old. Here is how they counted each race in every cell. This was the total of prisoners that were kept in this prison. So as you can see here, there are different places where the prisoners come from, and then on top each race counted. This is a regional, I don't want to say count sheet, but count board. And here is the key that opened and closed all these doors. I'm gonna check this key. It's massive. Doesn't look so massive in the video, but it's quite big. It really is. And here's a peeping hole. This one works. So this one still works luckily. So I can show you guys how when they closed it and then they opened it and looked at the prisoners inside. But this door is open now. So this is a cell. This was a cell for black prisoners. And this is not real prisoners, guys. Just for info. This is how, these are just mannequins showing how they sat and slept in the cell. So this was their toilets. So they had to do their business in this bucket here. They would sit against the wall just like so. I'm not sure if there were any bedding, maybe just blankets. And so they had a bucket to do their business in, and they had a water can if they're thirsty to drink water. And so, as you guys can see, there's no ceiling. It's closed with metal to ensure the prisoners don't escape. And it also shows you this place was built many years back. Thick metal sheeting. Okay, as we step out of this cell, there's a window there, and there's an opening there. That's the only light they had. That light wasn't here. So that was a black cell for prisoners. So this is a piece of equipment. I guess this is where they got their water pressure from. This is a water meter. Okay, let's move on. Now, if the prisoners were unlawful, no, not unlawful, but if they didn't behave properly, they were punished in this room. So this is where they basically strapped the people onto this mechanism, and they will hit them repeatedly. They will stand here, open legs. They will tie this around the body. They will lay here. They will rest their chest here. And then their hands will be tied on top or tightened here. Here's the other one. And then they will get beaten repeatedly in this room if they misbehave. Here's more photographs of the prison itself, where we are standing now. These are all prison uniforms of inmates. Now if they were white, they would wear a brown jacket and blue pants. If they were, this was also worn by white prisoners, and then this year was worn by black prisoners or African inmates. And then here, this was worn by female inmates, prisoners. Okay guys, I got new information. This year punishment mechanism is, this wasn't just for inmates, this was for even people who worked here. If they misbehaved, they were punished here. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. Comment if you guys have new information about this, yeah. Please comment and tell us more about this mechanism, yeah. This was the leash they used to hit these that were punished on the back, and that leash opens the skin on your back. If you hit hard with this and repeatedly, this will open your back and you will keep on bleeding. So just imagine how these floors look like. And I've heard why this piece of pillow here is yellow. These that were punished had so much pain that they urinated on this piece of pillow here. Okay, back to here. Also new information. The inmates wore these clothes here. These clothes were worn by the inmates. The inmates that were not punished. They wore these. Now for these that were not punished and they wanted to go and work by others, they will be wearing these clothes here, these long ones here, if they went out to go and work. This was for the women. If they wanted to go out to go and work by others, they will wear this piece of clothing here if they went out to work. Now these here on the bottom are the shoes the inmates wore. Just show you. Now these shoes over here were worn by female inmates, and these ones here were worn by male inmates. And then also here we got the socks they wore and the cuffs. They were locked up with these cuffs over here. And this over here they used to take fingerprints with. And these were the cutlery and stuff. They ate out of this, drank out of that cup, and that's where the spoons and forks they used. And these were caps they wore, which was two types of male headgear. The cap was issued primarily to African inmates, while the hat was issued to all who worked outside in work parties. This was an old phone they used. I'm not sure, maybe they used it to contact their families. I'm not sure. If you know, let us know in the comments. Okay, that's all for now for this room. Okay guys, so we are here by another cell at the moment. Now I just want to show you this. This was the original switch. Okay, so this was cells for white prisoners. Now keep in mind it looks exactly the same as the prison cells where the black people were kept. So there was nothing different. It was exactly the same. Same thing. Bucket to do their business in. That they ate their food out of. Also only got a blanket to sleep on and a water bucket. A water can to drink water out of. So also the roof looks exactly the same. Thick sheeted metal. So there was nothing different by the color of their skin. They were prisoners and they were dealt with the same way. So nothing different. All prison cells looked exactly the same. Doesn't matter what race they were. Okay guys, we are here by a late Victorian dining room from 1890 to the 1900s. This was a dining room. Okay, so you pull here and then you enter on this. Okay, so not very stable because it's very old. But here's the chest. See, there's something inside. Oh, there's nothing inside. But this was here. And old furniture they had here. They have here. All furniture. Okay. So guys, keep in mind if you come and visit Klerksdorp Museum, if you step on this wooden floor here by the dining room, just be careful because it's not very steady and you do not want to break anything old. Let's go out here. Now we are heading to the jail kitchen. This is the jail kitchen. Okay guys, so we are approaching the kitchen. Now keep in mind, some prisoners were forced to cook for others. So they had their cooks. All of the prisoners had cooks. So whoever was in charge took a few prisoners and made them cook. So here we have wooden boxes where they kept flour in. They kept their flour in there. Now, so they had to make their own food, and this was their meat block. They cut pieces of meat on this piece of block, and as you can see here, prisoners used to cook by themselves in these pots. I mean, look at these pots, they are so old. I'm sure you put wood there. In the bottom you put wood, and then right at the bottom you light it, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, look at these pots, they're massive pots. Some old equipment, and they use this piece of stick, which is a porridge ore, poplar, you know, corns, to stir the porridge, etc. And then also here we have a bread stove. They made their own bread with this here. They made bread and they cooked on here. As you can see, they cooked on here. And I see a tap here. Let's see. Maybe they threw water in here, and then the water heated up, and then if they opened the tap here, they had hot water. But let's have a look here. Let's open this pieces here. Now keep in mind, this is very thick metal. So this was very hot. The whole piece of stove was very hot, was boiling. So I'm sure if you had to open here, you had to open it with something. So as I said, yeah, they baked their own bread, made their own porridge and meat, so they made their own food. They cooked their own food. And here they had these big trays where they put all their bread on. After they cooked the breads, they put it on here, maybe to cool the bread down, so they can cut it nicely and stuff. And after the cooks that were appointed to cook, the prisoners that were appointed to cook, after they cooked the things, everyone stood outside here in a line or in a crowd, and they would get their food from here. So guys, we are here by the house museum now, just next to the prison. This was the governor's house. Let's have a look. You're gonna enter the house museum now. This was the governor's house. Take a look. All the old furniture and things. And yeah, cuffs. Look at these cuffs. Old cuffs. As you can see, these are all old letters. You're not allowed to touch them, as you can see on the sign. Old letters. Wow. This was a stamp, huh? This is an old. Oh, this is a paper holder. These are old letters.
The documents themselves are not significant. It's just any old handwritten things that we make copies of just for display purposes.
Okay. An old pipe. Sure. Was it? This was an old stamp.
It's an embossing machine.
Embossing machine.
Embossing machine.
Emboss. Okay, more pipes. Fireplace. Old fireplace. These are also old books.
Old Bible, King James Version.
This
Early
is
1600s.
this big book here is an old Bible.
1600.
King
1600.
James Version, that's important.
King James version 1600.
King James Version.
Yes. Shakespearean English.
Sure. Okay. Let's walk through. Okay, this was the dining room.
Typical Victorian era decor furniture.
What's the old dining room with the old chandelier.
Also of note are all those porcelain ornaments, very much typically Victorian.
Yeah.
Also of note is this high tea table, this double-story table. In front of you. A high tea table. So
High tea
the
table.
British are fond of the tea parties use those. And then that uncomfortable chair over there, that's a butler's chair.
Butler's chair
Wooden chair.
with an uncomfortable chair. Butler's chair. Porcelain ornaments. Victorian porcelain ornaments. This is the butler's chair. And couch. Another chair. This is a rocking chair. Old rocking chair. Old photos. And an old vintage piano. Treble organ. Look at this piece of board. Yeah, is this an old chessboard?
No,
Look at this old vintage,
English people especially used to play this.
old vintage chessboard.
And that's a lover's couch. The one at the back of you.
Fortunately, it's now a broken coach because I had a lady sitting down on top of the do not sit sign. You will see.
They call it a lover's couch.
Lover's couch.
In fact, it's actually officially called the recliner.
The recliner. Okay, this is the dining room, guys. That's all for the dining room. But look at the details. Okay, let's explore some more. This is the kitchen. Sure, this was for flies.
This is for sharpening your razor blade.
Sharpening your razor blade.
Yeah, you know your cutthroat razor?
Yeah.
Like you see in the movies? You sharpen it on this. It's basically a leather strap.
Yeah. Okay. So they sharpen their blades on this. Wait, leather strap. old cutlery. If you see some things in the video and you know what their names are exactly, please comment. These are old scales, old weighing scales. Look at this old pot. Yes, big. That's an old teapot. This is a big pot. Look at the table. Old equipment. There's a slicer.
That's a bread slicer.
Bread slicer.
Don't think Sasco bread.
Old
Proper Buddha bread.
bread slicer. This was an old fridge. Icebox. Old icebox.
That green contraption on the table in front of you, that's a cucumber slicer. Make yourself cucumber sandwiches.
Cucumber slicer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Contraption with a long handle, that's a sausage maker.
This is a sausage maker.
That's silvery object, that's a meat grinder.
That's meat grinder.
And then the dark object with the crank on the corner of the table, that's a coffee grinder.
A coffee grinder. Some more old cutlery. This is an iron.
The spice mill. It's Arabian.
It's also an old stove.
Is gedekt na baie toe die volume anders rond die begin en die kant die was
This is an old fire starter. Old fire starter there in the corner. Old pan. Old scoop. Bread scoop. This is a spice grinder. Old spice grinder. More cutlery. Old spices tin, seasoning tin. Look at this old roller. And that will be the kitchen, guys. So guys, we are here in the dining room. This here is an old Dutch Bible. As we move on, we get old cutlery. Old photos. Old table. Old dining room table. This is an old baby chair. Old baby chair. Butler's?
Cupboard.
This is a butler's cupboard. What do you put in there?
All kinds of paraphernalia that the butler needs for his
Brushes, coat brushes, coat hangers, clothes brushes.
main bedroom.
The main bedroom. Also old rocking chair. This is an old crib. Very old crib. Old mirror. Look at the design of this. The design of this bed. Look at the design of this bed. This was the master bedroom, old governor's bedroom. Wooden floor. Look at this old light switch. Very old light switch. Look at this master clock. Old master clock. You guys, if you decide to come and visit the governor's house, you have to fill in a form like this, just for extra information. Okay, thanks. Okay guys, so we are heading back into the jail. Also extra information about that punish mechanism is whoever steals, whoever stole, whoever did something on the street that they were not allowed to do, they were brought in and punished over there. And we are heading here to the isolation cells. So the prisoners were kept in here and they were kept in here, then they were brought out to that room and then they were punished. They were locked in here if they stole. Just want to show you guys that there are some writings on the walls that were done by the prisoners that were in this room. This is just amazing, guys, to be able to see what they have written here. As you can see, they were not treated very well here after all they were prisoners. And you can see that by what they are writing on the walls. So they were brought in here if they stole in the prison. And then I have heard they will stay here until they come out, and then they get beaten 28 times. There's also mesh or mesh, so that prevents the prisoners to escape. As you guys can see, thorn wire. I don't know how much prisoners will be put into one cell. Maybe as much as possible. As many as possible. Depends how much stole. And these here are old, very old light switches that you just used to flick and the lights would come on. As so. Old light switches. Okay, we are heading back into the prison. We are heading into the prison yard.
It's where the workshop was. Also, carpenters, blacksmiths.
We are heading into the place where the old Boeroorlog artifacts are from 1913. That's Oxcart. Maize Oxcart. Just head here. I see something here. I want to show you guys. Okay, so this are people who died fighting for RSA. And it says here they will forever be remembered. These people died in service of the RSA, and the names will be remembered. I'm trying to show you guys the names now. Okay, hope you guys could see the names. The people who died in service for the RSA. Here is a spring wagon. It's called a spring wagon because of the large metal springs on the axles, front and rear. were used as short animals in 1950. Guys, if you wanna come and look in there, there's a gift shop inside there. Here is a horse cart from 1971. This is called a hooded cart. If it rains or something, you don't get very wet. This is a communion wagon from 1915. This wagon was used if people wanted to travel. This was a wagon for animal transport. This here was a blacksmith's workshop. Olden day blacksmith workshop products. This was an old hand mill. This was a maize sheller. It doesn't say what this is. Please comment in the comments. Tell me what this is. Or was. This was. Here's also maize meal sheller. Carpenter workshop. Old carpenter tools inside. Here's another maize shallow. This was a washing dryer if you wanted to dry your clothes. Another old wagon. Keep in mind, look how big this wagon was. This is a old church. Hey guys, just one last look of everything. So guys, this here where I'm standing was a courtyard. The inmates would wait here and wait for their food here. Now we will be heading inside prison again to just look at the whole building. And each cell is made into something different. Fired the first shot of Second World War of Independence, 1899 to 1902. This is his tombstone. This was his tombstone. Klerksdorp sphere. This was a cell. But you can see, look at the door. This was a cell. So each cell is another exhibition. Here's a cell pioneer exhibition. Let's have a look in here. This was from McCoy's son. $2.4 million years ago. Engraved rock art. All same bag. You can go and watch these on the web. Simon Kwekwe. All the tools they used. Look at all the hammers. All these toes. Okay. How they just look how they change this cell for an inmate. Where inmate was jailed or inmates. Here we are in another cell. They changed into a traditional music cell, or a place where they can show old this is old soldier field equipment. Water flasks, nice. Bottle openers. Uniforms. This is amazing. All the light switch. Second War of Independence. Objects of Second War Independence. More children's shoes. Bible. Old Bible. Old cup. That looks like an old measuring square. All these are handmade. The Africans and the war. War in Klerksdorp. All these wars happened in 1902. Look at the old belts, old army belts. The old shovels. Can opener. This will be the last cell, guys. Look at the old doors of the prison. Okay guys, that will be all for today. Thanks. Till next time.